What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and continue learning about weird and confusing facts about British life. If you haven't seen part one, feel free to check out part one of this video where I was very much weirded out and confused at many times from these British life facts. We saw some stuff about, how much British people like to say sorry. I find that very endearing, by the way, very nice. How rare it is to see the sun and what an event that is. British cuisine, museums are free. That's pretty cool. Pub gardens, opening the door for people and making them run over to you and then saying thank you for holding the door open. Lots of interesting stuff. Very, very detailed, obscure British references, weird stuff about life that I'm very much enjoying how specific these are getting. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited to pick this up right where we left off. So let's take a look.
Number 16, this is divided. Some of us are very polite drivers and some of us are very rude. The polite drivers will probably let you through, but they will expect a thank you. We live for that thank you wave. Sometimes people just lift a finger, and that's enough. I just like the acknowledgement. I'm a polite driver.
Man, I'm tempted to say most Americans are not polite drivers. I'm very tempted to say, but I feel like I'm letting my own personal bias get in the way here, because you always tend to remember the bad, mean drivers and not the good ones. So I think it's very similar here in America that some people are, it's very much similar. Some people are very nice, but almost too nice. Like you're at a stop sign together and they clearly got there first, but they don't want to go. And then they're trying to let you go first and everyone's a bit confused. So I don't know. I feel I can go on and on about this, but this just sounds kind of similar in America and Britain.
A finger, and that's enough. I just like the acknowledgement. I'm a polite driver. Polite drivers also love to tut and shake their head at impolite drivers who have not thanked you for letting them pass.
Okay, yeah, the whole thanking thing, I don't think that's so important in America, that if someone's polite on the road that you thank them. You certainly would give a little one of these, one one of those for what it's worth. But it's far more common to come across some, I don't know, not so polite drivers, and at that point you're just trying to survive. You're just trying to survive on the road at that point.
Number 17, in many cultures around the globe, women want to have lighter skin, but in the UK, we want to have darker skin. Well, not all of us, but a lot of us like to use fake tanning products to make...
I was gonna say, are we talking about like tanning? Fake tanning? Tanning beds? That certainly is a thing in America as well.
Our skin darker. I must admit, I've got some on today. I am a very light shade of orange, on my knees particularly. And we don't have much sun, we don't get much chance to tan. And having a tanned complexion, I think, is almost a sign of wealth. Like you've been on holiday recently. I just think I look healthier with a bit of a tan, but you might not agree.
The whole tanning thing, fake tanning, I feel like that was very, very popular in America. It was almost like a fashion craze. But that was years ago. Like in many parts of America, you can get plenty of sunlight. So it's not necessarily too difficult to get a tan. Plenty of people do use tanning booths. Tanning was so big. Man, I haven't thought about tanning in a while. That's why I like these random, weird, and confusing facts. They just make me think of things I haven't thought about and ponder life in tanning. I don't know. Tanning, I don't necessarily think that's a sign of prestige or wealth in America anymore, but at one point it might have been. It might have. It was just kind of like more of a fashionable thing. Yeah, that's an interesting point, though.
Number 18, we are very divided over the royal family. Some people think it brings in loads of tourism and money. Some people think that they spend way too much money, and there's never really been a study to show whether they bring a profit or loss to the country.
Yeah, Americans don't really know what to think about the royal family because we don't have anything like that, a monarchy. So it's honestly to Americans, the royal family is like this novelty, like just this interesting, exotic, cool thing we hear about every now and then, and we're just like some Americans think it's dumb or boring or old and pointless. Most Americans seem to think it's just kind of interesting and traditional and like a representation of Britain in a way. So Americans are kind of split on it in a different way. I guess it doesn't really affect us very much. So we just, like, on a very surface level, we kind of look at it and are like, oh, that's interesting. Or that's neat. Oh, look at that outfit they have on. Or, oh, look how expensive that palace looks. And that's about it. That's as far as Americans really think about it, I think.
So it's a funny one. We just don't know. Number 19, the weather in summer can never be guaranteed. We don't actually go on holiday in our own country that much. We do, but we can't guarantee it's going to be a sunny beach holiday. A couple of years ago, my family and I went away to Cornwall to a beach resort, and there was not a single day of sunshine. It poured it down the entire time. And we just said, never again. We will always go abroad now.
Huh. This is something I have heard more and more about people in Britain, Europeans, dare I say, just seem to travel a lot more than Americans ever thought possible. Because America is so big, it takes forever to even travel to different parts of America and to see all the things you could see. And for most places, summer is going to be very dependably, sunny in America. So it's not really, there's none of that worry. And Americans just don't seem to travel abroad as much. We're not close to a lot of things. We're close to Mexico and Canada and some other islands. But yeah, it's interesting. It's just certainly not at the same level as what I hear about when people from Britain are like, "Oh, we're going on vacation outside of the country." That'd be a huge deal in America. Huge deal. Very rare. So I find that quite fascinating.
Number 21, we like to thank the bus driver when we get off the bus.
Okay.
In London, on the school bus, anywhere.
This is what I like about this video as well. You don't know what weird fact you're gonna get. We've gone from traveling to tanning, now to thanking the bus driver, which you should do. But with that being said, barely any Americans use public transportation. Our public transportation system is not great. And most Americans own cars for that reason. So we don't get an opportunity to even have a chance to thank the bus driver, but that does sound like a nice thing. You should probably do that. Is it particularly important in Britain?
When we get off the bus. In London, on the school bus, anywhere, it's pretty normal to say thank you as we get off.
Yeah.
My school bus driver was absolutely amazing. He actually used to buy us all Easter eggs.
What?
A whole school bus of children. He was lovely. His name was Roger. I hope I get to see him again.
Wow.
Number 22, dinner is often our biggest meal of the day. I'm talking about evening dinner. We have a fairly heavy breakfast.
Dinner? Sure. Okay, I mean, she really made me think there for a second, like, is there a standard in America? People probably eat, like, the biggest meal of the day at dinner. I've never really thought about it, but that's true. You do eat more for dinner. Huh.
A light lunch, and then a heavy dinner. And we normally have
Oh, what'd she say? Hearty breakfast, light lunch, heavy dinner?
a fairly heavy breakfast.
Heavy breakfast.
Meal of the day. I'm talking about evening dinner. We have a fairly heavy breakfast, a light lunch, and then a heavy dinner.
Well, I don't think Americans have a heavy breakfast. No. Americans have a pretty light breakfast. A lot of Americans, just grab a, like, bar or like a meal bar or a protein bar or a cereal bar or something like that, a multi-grain bar in a little package, and you run off to work and eat that, or like a Pop-Tart, or maybe a bowl of cereal if you have time. But breakfast is not a big meal for most Americans, I think, especially as you get older. Lunch is just kind of whatever, and dinner is definitely the special meal. And you might even go out to a restaurant or something. Yeah, although it is interesting to hear that she's saying that for Brits, breakfast can be kind of like a heavy, like a decent meal. There is the whole British breakfast type thing. English breakfast I've heard of as well. Maybe that has something to do with it.
And we normally have breakfast between 7 and 8, lunch between 12 and 1, and dinner between 6 and 7 normally.
Sure.
Number 23, how are you and you all right are not genuine questions. If we say, hi, you're right, I don't actually expect you to answer saying, well, actually, no, I'm not. My goldfish died. I just expect you to say, yeah, you're right. And that's it.
Yeah, apparently this is a big thing with like people in Britain and America, other English-speaking countries, that people internationally have to like learn. It's that when any of us say, "How are you doing? How's it going?" We're not being literal. It's more of like saying hello. But yeah, between Britain and America, that's the same exact thing.
Top quality interaction. Number 24, our population is incredibly diverse. In London, for example, in 2011, when they did the census that they do every 10 years, 44.9% of the population were white British. That means London as a city is so diverse, and it's something that a lot of us are really proud of. However, if you go up to the northeast, 93.6% of the population were white British. So it's not evenly distributed.
Yeah, that's what I would think about America as well. I haven't actually had an opportunity to read any kind of modern statistics on the diversity in America. But I would imagine it really, really depends on where you live. And if you live in a major city, it's far more likely to be much more diverse than other parts of the United States. Yeah, interesting though. That honestly makes me want to look that up at some point.
Number 25, we care a lot about where you stand on an escalator, and we will tut and shake our heads if you stand in the wrong place. And I always see tourists do this. You have to stand on the right, and you have to leave enough room for busy, rushy people to overtake you. Otherwise,
you have to stand on the right, but the right as you're going in? Or are we talking about elevators or escalators? Excuse me.
Wrong place, and I always see tourists. We will tut a lot about where you stand on an escalator.
Escalator. Oh my gosh, I thought she said elevator, and I was like, wait, which side is the right side? I feel like I'm gonna mess it up now. Escalator. Stand on the right side. People can go on the left side. Yeah, in a perfect world, that's how it would work, but it almost is never like that.
For busy, rushy people to overtake you. Otherwise, they won't say anything, but they'll stand there and tut and maybe even say, excuse me, excuse me.
Yeah.
Just be prepared.
Right.
26, we drink beer and cider in pints. Sometimes we drink a half pint. And our beer is sometimes served warm. Not lagers, but our British ales, we serve them at room temperature. And that can be shocking for some people.
I think that would be shocking for most Americans. Room temperature. Americans might even think something is wrong, like something's up. Like it was an accident or something, or the beer dispenser was broken if it was served warm. That's funny. It's on purpose.
27, we are terrified of wasps. The most serious, straight-laced person is likely to cause a massive flap and go, whoa!
What? Is this a British thing? This is a British thing. If you want to defeat the British population, unleash the wasps. That's what I learned today. But honestly, if you're not a complete psychopath, I think any reasonable person should be scared of wasps. They can fly. They're airborne. with a stinger, a pokey stick that is biologically attached to them. I mean, that's just scary. So I didn't expect this on this list. I think this applies to most normal people scared of wasps.
If a wasp comes, I was in a church watching a wedding ceremony the other day, and a wasp came, and it was absolute carnage. And of course, all the women had flower decorations in their hair, which just made it all the more hilarious.
Right.
I just observed and thought, I'm going to put this in a video.
Okay.
Number 28, our winters are really dark. In the peak of winter, the sun doesn't come up till past 9, and it goes down just after 3. It means that you can go into the office and leave the office without seeing sunlight. It is really quite intense.
Wow. Yeah. Winter really depends on where you live in America. I mean, I feel like I say that a lot, but America is so gigantic that the climate and weather can really, really be different depending on how north or south or east or west you live. Can really be quite different. So, I don't know, I've lived in states where winter is pretty bad and others where winter is really not bad at all. Like no snow even, just a bit cold. So, I don't know. It just kind of depends.
29, carpets are a key feature in our houses, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. Carpets in a bedroom.
Carpets. Carpets. I was like, is this a pit you drive your car into when you're upset with your car? Carpets, like that go on the floor. Oh my gosh, excuse me.
In our houses, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. Carpets in a bedroom, okay.
Yeah.
But in a lot of old-fashioned houses, we have carpets in the bathroom, which I don't think is hygienic.
Oh, no.
And it shocks quite a lot of people when they come over here.
No. What? No, I'd be dripping toothpaste onto the carpet and who knows what else. Carpets in the bathroom. Oh, man. Yeah, that would really confuse Americans. Oh, my.
We also have carpets on the stairs, which are really, really hard to clean. I know that when I design my own house, I won't be having so much carpet in it. Number 30, our plugs are different. We have a 3-pronged plug, which is different to the European plugs, so make sure you bring an adapter with you.
Oh, I thought I knew what she was talking about. But the British plug is different than the rest of Europe? I never knew that. Oh my gosh, you need an adapter? I'm looking at my plugs, the old 2-prong plugs. Man. Yeah, most Americans do know there's different plugs in the rest of the world. I just figured maybe all of Europe was the same. I actually didn't know that.
Let me see if I have a plug.
Okay.
God, I'm so hot. Yeah, this is our plug. It's a 3-pronged plug. And this is an earth prong. Tom Scott has got a really good video on this. This is going to be one of 2 times that I recommend his videos in this video. I think he's got a video explaining that, and it's a really good one, so I'll link it down below. I am going to mention another of his videos later on. 31, our society really doesn't prioritise religion. Church attendance and membership numbers have been falling drastically. In the 1930s, church membership was at 30%, and now it is at 10% or lower.
Well, I feel like America is famous for some of its religion, and it really, really, really depends on where you live in America for how much how much the local population is going to care about attending church or what kind of religion, some form of Christianity, very likely in many parts of America. Yeah, that's an interesting one, but I think overall the trend is the same in America, that religiousness is on the decline, for sure, in America. But then, if you travel to certain states and whatnot, you can really see a lot of active participation still going on.
A lot of people just go to church on really important events like weddings, Christmas, and maybe Easter.
That's
Number
true.
32, we often have separate taps, or faucets as you might call them, for hot and cold water, especially
Right.
in old-fashioned houses.
Right, I've heard of this. It's in the older houses though. At first I thought this was like common in all of Britain. The two taps, the two faucets. And I'm hearing that that is like not standard in modern houses, thank goodness. But very interesting nonetheless. I have heard of that one.
This is where I talk about Scomtot. This is where I talk about Tom Scott's video. He's got a really, really good video explaining why this is. Because I've always wondered, because I've always grown up with having to choose between boiling hot water on my face or freezing cold water on my face. And just thinking, why can't we just mix them? We do have mixer taps now, but it was something to do with the tanks that stored hot water. They couldn't legally be mixed with drinking water, hence why hot in one, cold drinking water in another.
Okay.
Again, it's something I have in my house right now, but when I move into my own house, I will be making sure that all taps are mixed taps.
Okay.
Number 30.
Okay. Huh. Well, you know what? I think with that, with the taps that can hopefully through the miracle of modern technology be mixed, I think I'm gonna stop there because we're about 2/3 of the way through this behemoth of a video, 50 weird and confusing facts about British life. I'm very much enjoying this, and so far, the vast majority of these I genuinely have never heard before. There's been a few I have, but for the most part, this is fantastic information. Totally new, very useful in some cases. I want to be standing on the correct side of the escalator in Britain. I don't want to get anyone upset with me. So if you're interested in seeing the conclusion of this series, feel free to come back for part 3. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.